Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about GoFundMe creating 1.4 million donation pages for nonprofits. And a lot of these nonprofits didn't even know there were pages set up for them. What's going on with that? That's kind of weird.
I mean, even if their attention was good because they're like, oh, these places could all use, you know, the GoFundMe funds, it also raises a question like, well, why didn't they tell the organizations or ask first, get permission, let them opt in or out? It also asks the question of, so did GoFundMe take fees for those donations?
I'm sure they did.
And I mean, I'm sure they gave the money to the companies eventually, I'd hope. But I mean, I'm sure they got paid by doing this.
It sounds to me like, and I kind of skimmed through this article, and we'll talk more about it, but it sounds to me like they sort of set it up preemptively, like Facebook, like claim your business on Facebook, claim your business on Google, but there are transactions being involved in this.
Yeah, that's just it. So like you can claim it, and you know, otherwise it's not showing really.
Right.
But you know, now it was showing, and people were donating. And I'm not saying that they're keeping the money. I don't think they did. But I'm just saying what it sounds like to me, in my opinion, is that they set this up so that people would donate there and they'd give the money to these organizations after they got their fees.
Right, right.
Unless they say otherwise in the article.
Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to see what's going on here. Not a lot of people are talking about this. So good eye, Geeky, you've spotted this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
We do not have a GoFundMe set up for us, so don't worry. So if you see something for us on GoFundMe, it's definitely not us.
A lot of people don't even want to use GoFundMe because there's so many scams out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you go out just and do a search for GoFundMe fake pages and like all kinds of stuff is coming up, and a lot of times they'll do a fake page for like a celebrity. I mean, this is like ambulance chasing, right? Like I'm going to set a GoFundMe up for this person, and then that person doesn't even know the GoFundMe was set up for them.
No.
And, you know, I don't know if they get the money or not, or it's just like a friend doing it. But there's GoFundMe is very dicey unless I actually know the person and I know that somebody that represents the person or the person themselves set the GoFundMe up. I won't give any money to it because it's really weird.
And unfortunately, ones who do need it, you know, get caught up in that. But it is what it is.
So this is coming from Channel 7 News, ABC. GoFundMe created 1.4 million donation pages for nonprofits. Some Bay Area organizations had no clue. San Bruno, a new product from GoFundMe, is intended to solicit donations for nonprofit organizations, but at least in one case, several organizations had no clue these pages even existed.
I'm sure it's across the board that they're not.
So this is Dave Dornless, the treasurer for the Friends of the San Bruno Public Library and the president of the San Bruno Amateur Radio Club. Recently, he got a call from the library that left him puzzled. One of our patrons at the library, they wanted to make a donation in someone's name who had passed away, okay? They said the person went online and found a GoFundMe page tied to the library's nonprofit and wanted to know if it was legit or not. He said it was something that we did not set up and we were concerned about it. We weren't sure what was going on. But it turns out that GoFundMe made the page, but he had no clue.
And he's the treasurer.
He's the treasurer, yeah. He's not the only one. GoFundMe has taken it upon itself to create quote-unquote nonprofit pages for 1.4 million 501c3 organizations using public IRS data along with information from trusted partners like PayPal, the PayPal Giving Fund. So they're working with PayPal to create these pages to presumably make fees.
So PayPal gets a fee, and then GoFundMe gets a fee.
And the IRS
and then we're saying we're all doing it in the name of helping other companies. I mean, unless they waive their fees, which I doubt.
According to the company, this allows individuals across GoFundMe's 200 million strong global community to easily discover and donate to nonprofit organizations, helping them support causes and charitable missions they care about, even if the organization hasn't actively created a GoFundMe campaign that smells like a lawsuit.
Yeah, because you're like, I wouldn't do it just for the fact that I wouldn't, as a GoFundMe, I wouldn't want to be accused of not giving the money to them. You know,
and you don't know just because they're creating it for that organization. You don't know if the money's actually going to make it to the organization. You don't know if it was GoFundMe.
They're basically the organization can claim it, and they said the organization claims it, then they can see all the information that you would see if it's your own page. But if they haven't claimed it, it's just trust me, bro. But I mean, I get the point of what they're saying there. I mean, my personal opinion is that wasn't the point, but you know, the point they're saying, because some organizations might get money they wouldn't actually have gotten otherwise. But now it's just gonna make people trust GoFundMe even less.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lamp explains some nonprofits will claim it. So this is like Facebook does. They're like, they basically will preemptively build a page for your business and you're supposed to claim it, but you didn't make it. But again, when you're involving financial transactions,
and it's really, and nonprofits, have a lot more oversight than other places do. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to cause them headaches or not. It might.
So the fact that they would just build on their own pages for nonprofits that they've never spoken to is a problem. I'm a believer in opt in, not opt out. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with them. I agree with them.
It could cause them a big headache because they might, if there's like the people want to donate there, but then they're thinking it's legit, and then I'm not saying it's not legit, but I mean that the organizations that know about it and then people question it, it's gonna be a headache because they're gonna be like, wait, where's this? And there's a lot of time spent figuring it out. A lot of that's another line of money that the accounting is gonna have to audit and do all the stuff for to prove that they didn't make it up or steal it or whatever. It just sounds like a lot of headaches.
Is there an opportunity in the future for GoFundMe to contact these nonprofits directly prior to creating the pages? Ask 7 on your side, Stephanie Sierra to Lamp. I think the more we can communicate, this is the PR person for GoFundMe. The more we can communicate and speak to the nonprofits directly, it's always beneficial to us as we continue later in 2025 and 2026. We plan to do more communication directly to the nonprofits.
I mean,
about
here's my thing: if you're going to do, if you have the ability to go get the public information, IRS data to set these pages up, don't you think you would have the ability to contact those organizations to make sure that they were told you did it if they wanted to claim it, and then if they didn't want to claim it, you could delete it? If you have all the access to all this data from all this other stuff for that, why couldn't you contact them?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy at the library said only after you became involved, after Channel 7 got involved, they contacted me. Now, this is...
Go down. Is that what you're going to read about the tips? Yes. This is what I was saying.
All right. GoFundMe also solicits a tip of 14.5%. In other words, we're doing this and we're doing, and we're great people. I almost said we're doing people. That's OnlyFans. We're doing this and we're doing people. Give us 14%. Give us 14.5% to do this, which doesn't have to happen. That's what bothers me. Indiegogo did that too. And they actually tricked people into paying the tip, thinking the tip was going to the creators and not to the company. And I think that's skeezy because they're already collecting a processing fee.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we kind of were about using it anymore.
Indiegogo, yeah.
Because people were telling us, we're like, wait, what?
Because Kickstarter, if you use Kickstarter or BackerKit and you tip there, it goes to the creator. And people thought that, and what they would do is if I remember correctly, because it's been a couple of years since we used Indiegogo, but if I remember correctly, the tip would be turned on by default and you would have to go in and disable it, but they, here's an extra $5 to support the platform, and they're thinking it's going to you, and it's not.
Well, so I don't know what the fees, but the tip at least, because if there's fees too, I don't know, but the tip, that's what I was thinking. It was a tip, and it's like people don't know they'll think they have to give that. You don't. You can adjust it to 0 if you want to, but the fact is they're setting up. If I'm reading this correctly, they're setting up all these accounts using public IRS data and PayPal information for these nonprofits and to quote unquote help them. But then if people donate, then they're going to be asking for a tip, not knowing they can or can't take that off. So they're getting paid. And then if you use PayPal or whatever to pay it, then PayPal gets a fee too.
Yes.
So I'm like, this sounds like a way for GoFundMe to just drum this up. Now, we're going to send the money to them. They don't have to know about it because they might tell us we don't want us to do it.
Right. It's better to ask for forgiveness than
I'm just like, dude.
Right? I think they're going to have to GoFundMe their lawsuit because I think it's this.
They do charge fees too. This tip would be in addition to the 2.2% transaction fee GoFundMe charges nonprofits, plus 30% per donation. For donations, they didn't ask you to set up. So if people were giving them money directly, they get to keep all the money. But because they're going through this, there's a tip going to GoFundMe. There's a fee going to GoFundMe. And these are set up without the nonprofit's permission or knowledge.
Yeah. So the PR person for GoFundMe is like, these completely optional contributions really make it possible for us to offer our fundraising tools, our customer support, and really support our global team of trust and safety experts. We know, yeah, you're doing a great job. We know the majority of donors interact with the slider, whether they move it up or down or all
Okay,
the way
that's
to
for the
zero.
tips. But what about your fees?
Well, the
You're
fees
paying-
are, yeah.
You're asking for fees too. So again, you set this up using public data. You set all these accounts up so that you get fees from this. So when people donate, you're taking fees because they think they're giving it to the nonprofits, and the nonprofits aren't always aware that it even exists because you didn't even take the time to alert them. So this whole thing seems like we're down on money. What can we do to get more money? Oh, there's going to be fees for nonprofits. You have to pay the fees. The fees come out of their donations, but we're collecting money for you without your permission. But we're taking fees too. This seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, they're calling it out on X. Wall Street Apes is calling it out, and it's interesting because they're bringing up the fact that the Freedom Convoy in 2022 in Canada, they shut their GoFundMe down. Yeah,
they do. They shut down ones they don't like, and there's ones that were people were raising money fraudulently for people that were like the guy that stabbed that girl and stuff on the bus. There was somebody supposedly raising money for that person that got shut down, obviously.
Here's somebody that said that they run a nonprofit. I was shocked to find out that a nonprofit I founded and manage has a GoFundMe page. I have not authorized GoFundMe to use my organization's logo or information for this purpose. Yeah, there's gonna be lawsuits.
And then GoFundMe's taking a fee if people donate.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. It's about scamming fees. I'm
sorry, that's how it comes across. And otherwise, why would you not alert them? You have all this data that you can use to set up. You've got all this effort to set up all these pages. How many they say there was 1.some million?
1.4 million.
1.4 million. You got all this public data to set this up, PayPal information to set this up. You went to all that trouble to set these pages up, but you couldn't notify the nonprofits in case they didn't want it turned on.
Okay, so this
and then you take fees on top of it?
Yeah, this sounds like a shell game. Paul here says Orozco. I don't know how you pronounce your names. Sorry, dude. Something to consider is by adding all these unauthorized clients, it artificially inflates their traction, which equates to value, which in turn defrauds their investors, not to mention the fees they collect from folks who donate. This is very problematic and unethical.
Yeah,
and
it is because they don't know, but some people don't know you can turn the tips off.
This person here, Malinois Gal, says, now I understand. GoFundMe is not owned by a single person, but is a publicly traded company whose majority ownership was sold to venture capital firms, Excel Partners, and Technology Crossover Ventures in 2015. So this is all about raising the value probably of the platform.
Yeah, because they're saying we have more users. It's like Disney giving away subscriptions to Disney Plus through Verizon or whatever. And Verizon's probably paying $1 a subscription or something like that. And then they're saying, oh, look at all the subscribers we have, even though a lot of them just got it for free and it was automatically given to them whether they wanted it or not. It's kind of like that. And it is artificially inflating the numbers and the users, which they're going to then run with and say, hey, look how many people use GoFundMe.
Yeah, there's a
lot of problems here.
There's a lot of problems here, and this one seems to be going under the radar too. It's just the local news station that's covering it, but I imagine it's probably.
I saw it, so here you are.
That's true. Yeah, and I think more people are probably going to come forward and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, my homeless dog shelter, or whatever, dog soup kitchen is on here, and I never set this up."
Now, I mean, the good news is if you do have a nonprofit and that you wanted it to be on GoFundMe, well, you have it there, and there might be money already in play for you. If you claim it, you get access to controlling it. But it's very what?
People are asking what happens to the money if no one claims it.
That's what I wonder.
Sits in their bank account and collects interest. Or or
do they have to send it to the organization?
Well, okay, so this is
if you're collecting donations for that organization, you'd have to send it to the organization.
What if you don't know how to contact that organization, or they don't have a PayPal, or they don't have, what I'm saying?
What if these organizations aren't even valid anymore, but you got the data from public, sources, but the organization is no longer in existence?
Yeah,
where does that money go?
20 years ago we dissolved, but we've got $5,000 sitting in an account and Indigo, or not Indiegogo. Yeah,
well, it probably goes unclaimed, and if it goes unclaimed for so long, I would assume that organizations that are still around, that would be up to GoFundMe to make sure the money gets sent to them. But if they're unclaimed after so long, who's to say they can't say, oh well, If it doesn't get claimed after this amount of time, then we're going to take it if they aren't automatically sending it. But I would say if you're setting these up without permission, it's up to you to automatically send it to those businesses or those nonprofits.
I think
it's a lot of questions. There's a lot of question marks. I immediately was like, oh, hell no, when I saw this.
Yeah. Well, we know, I mean, again, not to slam on Indiegogo here, but it was a Freudian slip because I know Indiegogo for a while, and this is why we don't use them anymore, they were holding on to people's money for months. Sometimes, and
sometimes people were getting money, like big amounts of money that they held on. Like you're getting it 6 months later. Like what's this? And they didn't even know they held it.
We had the one campaign. They actually held our money for about 2 months, and they said, "Oh, we're doing safety checks." It's like there's nothing to check. Everything is fine.
And remember, you have to go through all those checks before you launch your campaign.
And I talked to some people who talked to some people, and they basically said that Indiegogo, which it just got sold, right? Not surprisingly, it got sold. But they said they were having severe financial issues, so they were holding on to money as long as they could.
Which happens a lot. We're seeing a lot with like Google and other places. And I don't think it's because Google's just like taking more than they should. But this is concerning because GoFundMe already has a reputation that I don't trust GoFundMe half the time. Unless it's like you said, somebody I know. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a good idea. And now if people already have trust issues with GoFundMe, this is going to make their trust issues 10 times worse. Honestly, at this point, if you want to donate to an organization, a lot of organizations will have on their site, or if you can go in and ask how to donate to them and go through those channels, because you don't even know if GoFundMe money is getting to them at this point in time. Because are they even specifying if the money's, they make sure the money gets delivered, or is it a case they have to claim it to get the money? They aren't saying.
That's what I'm wondering. And then it just sits in an account.
I mean, they might send it, and that's possible, but they're still taking fees on it, and the organization never authorized it.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on here. So I'd say the IRS could investigate because they got the information from them, but they're basically shut down at this point. So who knows? Maybe you have to do a GoFundMe for the IRS agents.
If you want to donate to an organization, I would recommend if it's a nonprofit that is one that's near you, or one that's a big one, or one that you know of, I'd go in and ask them to go to their website and see. And a lot of times you can donate via your card or whatever right on the site directly. I would just do that.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.